Okay, who else is wrapped up in blankets, has hot drinks everywhere, and has these like hot bags, hot water bottles to keep them warm? Now, it is winter, it is cold, it is dry, and it is certainly testing our patience. Now, what if I were to tell you from an Ayurvedic perspective that every season has a reason? Now, Ayurvedically, winter is the Ojas building season. Now, what is Ojas? Ojas is your natural reserve of immunity, vitality in your body. But more than a physical, there's also a mental side of this as well. Ojas is all about your mental fortitude, your strength, your knowledge as well. So this is a really interesting season, as much as we dislike it. So here are 3 things you can do to build Ojas this season. Internally, we focus on nourishment, nourishing the body with warm, wholesome foods, soups, stews, things that have good digestive spices in them, like ginger, like cinnamon. This is really great for the body. Now, mentally, if we think about internally, what can we nourish ourselves with? This is a great time to learn something new. It doesn't have to be anything big, but it's a great time to build knowledge. Maybe there's something you're interested in or a skill you're already building. This is a great time for the next few weeks to really focus on that. Now, externally, what can we do? Now, for the body, externally, we can do a practice called Abhyanga. Now, that's self-oil massage, where you take an oil like coconut oil, which is universal for all body types, and apply that to the body in the morning before you exercise, before you take a shower. This helps to create more of a barrier on the skin and protect against some of the dryness while also nourishing. From a mental perspective, what can we think about externally? What can we surround ourselves that will provide just an extra layer of mental fortitude or positivity? Is it a reminder? Is it a positive quote that can support you in this season? And then third, let's think about exercise or movement. Now, for the body, what we want to focus on are things like consistent, solid movements. Rather than overexertion, stick to something small and consistent. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's weight training, but not pushing ourselves to the max, because then that will aggravate the qualities of winter, this dryness, this coldness in the body. Now, when we think about internally, mentally, what does that mean? That can be a practice of meditation. Now, meditation is basically exercise for the brain, and I know feels really hard, but it's really just about bringing your focus back to the same point over and over again and developing a sense of awareness. So let me know which of these 3 rituals, actually 6 rituals, you are going to apply in this Ojas building season. And remember that every season has a reason. Okay, so let's take this conversation a little bit deeper and expand on a few other points. So first, when it comes to Ojas, if you want to understand it a little bit more, let me connect it back to the 3 main principles in Ayurveda. Ayurveda talks about everything in the universe, in the world, in our bodies being composed of 3 qualities: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is the quality of air. It is airy, it is dry, it is cold, it is the quality of movement. Pitta is the quality of fire, of strength, of it does involve movement too, but it's more energized, much more intense. And then there's Kapha. Kapha is about, it's slow, it's steady, it's about foundations, it comes from the quality of earth. So think about that. Now, Ojas is connected to the quality of Kapha. It's about that stability, about that earthiness, about that consistency. And when we think about the season of winter, winter is all about Vata, coldness, airiness, dryness. So of course, this is a season that we need to contrast or complement the qualities of Vata with the qualities of Kapha, which are these Ojas building qualities. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit contextually of like why winter is considered Ojas building season. Now, I also want to explain further on the topic of Abhyanga. What is Abhyanga? It is such a beautiful practice and it can help you in so many ways. So Abhyanga is the practice of taking an oil that is suitable to your body type. Now, the beautiful thing is coconut oil is one oil that suits all the different doshas, Kapha, Pitta, Vata, as I mentioned, and any combination. And what you do is you take some coconut oil and massage it onto your skin. I'm talking all over your body. first thing in the morning. And what it helps to do is manyfold, but it helps, one, to obviously nourish the skin from the outside. Two, it helps to absorb nutrients into the body without actually digesting them. And I know that that concept sounds really weird because you're like, well, we only digest from our food, like internally, but actually we do digest things externally as well. You know, our skin is our biggest organ. And for example, it gets exposed to the sun, and this is how we absorb vitamin D. When we do oil the body, it actually allows us to absorb vitamin D better into the body. So I just wanted to clear up that misconception that most people think we only absorb through internal, but we actually absorb externally. So what we put on the outside of our bodies really matters. Now, further explaining this point of Abhyanga. So we do it in the morning. You want to do it before you do any exercise or take a shower. And the reason you want to do that is, one, it gives time for it to absorb into the body. But two, if we introduce a little bit of movement, then the body starts to warm up, and that oil can absorb better into the body. Also, practically speaking, it's a lot easier if you do this before you shower, because then you're a little bit oily and then it comes a little bit off in the shower. Now, the best part is when you do this and you come out of the shower, you actually haven't stripped your body of all of the oils, because there is that natural absorption that's happening. And it's actually a better way of nourishing your skin than the conventional Western way, which is to only put cream on after you take a shower. Personally, I do both because I like a bit of both. And you don't have to do Abhyanga every day. We don't always have the time to do, that extra 5 minutes. We don't always have it. That's fine. But even if you did it once a week, it would have an incredible impact on your skin, on your body, and how you're feeling internally. So I hope those two things help you understand a little bit more around the practices related to Ojas building from a physical perspective. Now, from a mental perspective, I just want to touch on one point. Now, winter is a time, not only it's cold, it's dry, but it's also dark. The mornings are darker, the evenings, is it the evenings? It's kind of the afternoons by the time it's dark, which is kind of sad. But another great way of looking at it is the season itself creates a little bit of a cocoon for you to go inwards. It's a great time for you to commit to mental practices such as meditation, or maybe it's visualization. But this quieter, darker time just gives you a little bit more of that space. When it's summertime and the sun is out till 9 p.m., 10 p.m., depending on what time zone, what continent you live in, you are probably much more active going out enjoying. But if you can take maybe 10 minutes every evening to do a practice that's good for your mind, that would only be beneficial to you. And just to give you some examples of things that you can do that are really simple, it can be as simple as spending some time with, perhaps you have some affirmations. Maybe you just spend 3 minutes in the evening going through those affirmations. Perhaps there is a meditation that you do, something you literally pick up from YouTube, and just do that every evening because you have this quieter, dark time. The other thing that I also recommend, which is a practice I've been doing, is setting aside about 10 minutes every evening before I go to bed to relax the body, but also allow all of the things to come up out of my brain. I kind of call it like the anxiety hour. It's not an hour, it's like 10 minutes. I put on a YouTube video that has some nice music, and during that time I lie down, and whatever comes to my mind, I just write it down, and it gets off my brain and allows me to go to bed more rested. So I hope you pick up one of these tips, one of these tricks. I hope you've come away from this video learning a lot more. And like I said earlier, every season has a reason.